And I do think that the attacking edge that City have at the moment, we're far below that. Our front three are misfiring badly. And that is something that we need to address going into the game on Sunday. So until we correct that, our title hopes could go down the drain if we don't.
We are in a situation now where it is, like we said, it is a shootout.
I would say both teams are likely to drop points.
Yeah.
Both teams are likely to drop points before the end of the season.
Where would you think? I'll tell you where I'm worried. Shall I tell you the game I'm worried? West Ham.
Yeah, good shout.
Yeah, because listen, they're fighting for their lives and they're playing good football.
What's the easiest trophy to win?
The easiest one? Well, there's no easy trophies to win.
Is a Champions League, could be a little bit, just got to get past Atletico.
Oh, for us? Yeah. Oh, the easiest one. I mean, listen, realistically, all we need to do is win one. To win the Champions League, all we need to do is win 2 games and we can lose 1.
Do you think that's the easier one in the Premier League?
Possibly.
Why do you say that? I'm interested to know.
Only because of I think we do look a little better in Europe. We've looked at different teams.
Yeah, that's true.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Invincible podcast. Yes, with myself, Marty, your host for today. Unfortunately, Mr. Lee Judges is unavailable for selection for this particular show. So he will be back soon, rest assured. But out of the team for today. But speaking of teams, before I introduce my absolutely fabulous team for today, please like, share, subscribe if you haven't already, and please get your comments in about today's show. So, on my left-hand side, starting with a staple of the Invincibles. Yes, this guy originated fan cams blowing up outside the Emirates Stadium back in the day. Yes, he's still here. He is the legend himself. Mr. Chris Hudson is in the building.
What an introduction, Marty. I love what an introduction.
Well, you weren't it, mate. You are the man himself, you know.
I'll take.
Without Chris Hudson, you do realise there's no AFTV, right?
Yeah, I do. I know this fully.
Legends.
Well, and your brother.
Well, yeah, but
I mean,
he kind of does help. Part.
Mate, no, listen, this is why the legend himself, the main man, is in the building. Yeah. And speaking of legends, we have another one. Yes, he is the other half of the Lyle brothers. He's here, he's everywhere. The man himself, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Laurie Lyle.
Too kind.
Mate, you earn it. You earn the name. Your work rate on YouTube is absolutely phenomenal.
But I would say that Invincibles, whenever I'm on this, I always look forward to it because it's one of my favourite shows on the whole network. And I'm not just saying that now. I've said it before.
Do you know what? I love this show as well. I love either, sitting on the couch hosting it. It was one of the first shows I got involved with, and I think it's a great concept.
Well, it's good therapy, isn't it?
It is.
Let me tell you, I need it.
And today, it looks like I'm the therapist. So
I'm on the couch.
Deep diving into your souls today with some cognitive behavioural therapy. I am here. So guys, listen, let's get straight into it. Sunday was a very, very disappointing result. Obviously needing 3 points to really beat City. Now it's a level on points. We're both on 70. The goal difference is tied. We have both won 21, drawn 7, lost 5, 37 goal difference, 70 points. It is neck and neck. This is going to the wire. This is a proper good old-fashioned shootout between 2 top teams going at it. And look, I know there's some real divided opinions in the fan base amongst, amongst us bottling it, the manager, this, that, the players, the performances. And I'm going to quickly come to you guys. And Chris, I'm going to come to you first. Obviously, I haven't spoken to you about the game, and I want to just sort of run me through how you saw the game.
I thought we was a bit unlucky, I thought we played really well. I mean, that is a shot just trickled along the line and broke it. I mean, God, And I think you could say Big Gabby deserved to get sent off.
Yeah.
A lot of refs would have sent him off, but on the same token, they didn't half get away with some decisions. And it's not an excuse before people start saying it. Mm-hmm. So I thought we played really well, but my big regret was, why didn't we play like that against Bournemouth?
Yes.
And basically, it is going to be a shootout. It's going to be quite interesting.
It is, isn't it? It's toe to toe, neck and neck. And obviously, for us, they've got a semi-cup final against Southampton on Saturday. We've got Newcastle 5:30 kickoff. Big game. Laurie, before we come to that, because we are going to come on to that later in the show, Laurie, run me through how Sunday went for you.
Well, I do agree with the legend to my left here, Chris. Up to a point, we were a lot better than we were against Bournemouth. We were competitive. The performance was a lot better in pretty much most respects. However, we did not win. We failed to get the job done because if we'd have drawn, things might be very different in terms of the title race. I do kind of, I wouldn't say take exception. I think some of the fans are kind of glossing over things a little bit. And I'll tell you why I think that. Listen, it was a better performance. But at the end of the day, we were still beaten by the better team. Yes. I thought on the day, City were a lot more clinical. They had a couple of chances, they took theirs. We had chances, we didn't take ours. That was the difference. And I do think that the attacking edge that City have at the moment, we're far below that. Our front three are misfiring badly. And that is something that we need to address going into the game on Sunday. So until we correct that, our title hopes could go down the drain if we don't. Because I think goalkeeper-wise, fantastic. Defence-wise, best defence in the league. Midfield, not operating on all cylinders, but enough to get us through. For me, the problems are the front three. We're just not scoring enough goals. We're not taking chances. And it's costing us. Yeah,
I mean, look, it's an interesting thing you say about that front three. For me, I thought Havertz, his hold-up plays, winning aerial duels, he does what Havertz does. And he has that first chance where usually he takes that touch and he'd put it on a plate for himself, but then he'd stick it wide. But the touch overruns it, doesn't even get the opportunity to take the shot. And then obviously late in the the depths of the game, a fantastic ball in the middle. I mean, a Mikel Merino on the end of that, or maybe a Gyökeres. I think that's in the back of the net in Alan Shearer sort of style, and even Haaland, dare I say it, puts that in the back of the net. I mean, realistically, with that header, all you've got to do is kind of get it on target. Apart from anywhere around there with the keeper, there's a lot of goal to stick it in. That's in, it's 2-2, the place goes nuts. Or the away section goes nuts. It's a different game. We come away from there chalking off another game and still retaining our 3-point advantage on them. And sometimes you look at, for me, or I look at Kai Havertz and Victor Gyökeres and wish I could sort of meld them together and have all of Kai Havertz's great parts, like his touch, his hold-up play, and then Victor Gyökeres' finishing. You've probably got the most complete striker going.
I personally thought it was a mistake not to start Gyökeres for that.
You think, yeah?
I do.
Why?
Because I just think that if you... listen, the reason why he was brought to the club is because the man scores goals. Now, I know, there's been criticism of some of his play. Yeah. And listen, he's not, set the world alight. Yeah. But I do think if it comes down to who's likely to score you a goal in an important game, I would put my money on Gyökeres over Havertz all day long.
Okay. Look, I like I said, I think for me, Gyökeres' finishing, you give him a ball to lash at, I do believe his finishing is better than Havertz.
I mean, holding up the ball, as everyone, gives credit to Havertz for, and listen, I get it. But I've never seen anyone hold up the ball and score. But you know what I mean?
But you need to put the ball... That season, Havertz had a really good season. He was doing everything. And how many goals did he get 15. That season?
I believe it was 15.
Plus assists.
Yeah, plus assists on top of that. And that was obviously, it was just after the Manchester United FA Cup game where we drew 1-1, lost on penalties, I believe. And he was doing well.
I just think, I know it's all rumour and I won't believe it. We need Saka back, mate.
We do, and look, let's go into this, because for me, look, I'm not one for lambasting and hammering players, and I try and support them where I can. But for me, Noni Madueke's not doing enough. When you look at, we pay 50 million quid, and you look at Ryan Cherky and those different positions, they pay 25 million quid for this guy, and he is absolutely phenomenal. And we're just seeing, Madueke's had signs of brilliance, he's had flashes of brilliance, but
is he fit, Sam?
Is he fit? I mean, look,
You had that. Remember, he had that.
Yeah, the knee brace.
Knee brace, didn't he?
You know, and going on that, is that a game? I believe that's one of the most physical games as well I've seen personally. As a neutral, I'm not a neutral. I'm an Arsenal fan, and obviously a result like that is hugely disappointing. But what a great game! I thoroughly enjoyed watching the game, apart from the result. And the physicality levels and the housery, and like we saw with between Gabriel and Haaland, I love seeing that.
Yeah,
in
it was
football.
a proper game.
It's a battle. It's a war.
It got record viewing figures for a Premiership game in America.
Yeah. Wow.
How about that?
Says it all. It was a spectacle, and it was, you know, like that. The Gabriel and Haaland, you know, like he's ripped his shirt, basically ripped his undershirt off.
Years ago.
How did he manage to do that, by the way?
Physicality.
Because the main shirt was intact.
Yeah, no, he's grabbed his undershirt, just literally. That's how much they're on each other. I mean, the goal that Haaland scores, when I watched it, and obviously we did the watch along in Box Park, which, you know, by the way, as well, on a personal note, that was a fantastic event, and I thoroughly enjoyed doing that. It was, you know, big up to Box Park for having us. They were absolutely fantastic. They looked after us so well, and it was a nice space. The atmosphere in there was awesome. Everyone that I met was absolutely fantastic. So, you know, it was really enjoyable. But so watching it, I had the benefit of replays, but it was only when I actually got back home and rewatched the game that I saw how much on that goal that Haaland scores that he pulls Gabriel so he can't get anywhere near him. There were so many flashpoints in that game, like the Haaland Gabriel. I believe Gabriel's got to go for that. It's a headbutt, you know. Havertz getting pulled back, red card. You know, it's the last man standing. That's a red card. There were so many points in that game where you can bring up. You could just bring up, like, you know, oh, this, that, and the other. But at the end of the day, for me, I don't want to take away like that Ryan Cherky goal. We saw him do it against Chelsea the week before, and what an outstanding piece of skill. He jinks through the defence like an absolute magician and sticks it in the bottom corner just like nothing. And that's.
But the thing is, years ago, Marty, that sort of player, I was just going to become very cynical. He wouldn't be allowed to get in the box, and within the first 5 minutes, someone would be going right through the back of him.
Yeah, I know.
So, you know what I mean? I know it's a lot. Don't take away the bit of skill, but I sometimes think.
So what are you saying, Chris? Someone should have levelled him double lively. Levelled him.
I watched him last night at Burnley. I mean, years ago, someone had been on him and bang.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but, you know.
It takes me back, actually, exactly what you say, to I remember when. This was in '89, I believe, when Wimbledon played Liverpool and in a cup final, and they knew that there was no way they was going to match them skill for skill. And literally within the first 30 seconds, Vinnie Jones goes straight for Steve McMahon and he just wipes him out. And they both admit that set the tone for the game. Obviously, when you've got a guy like that, it picks up a booking straight away. When you've set the tone like that, you also don't want to half go in for a challenge. I've had it when I played. You know, when someone levels you and you think, you know, and you kind of, there's that hesitancy and you back off a bit because this could get nasty here. So maybe you're right on that, Chris. And especially after the situation in the cup final when Cherky's there doing kick-ups, I would have liked to have thought someone would have been like, do you know what, mate, and left something on him quickly and just be like, listen, you ain't going to be doing that today.
On that Cherky goal, that was interesting because, you know, it's just my opinion. But I don't think any of our players that played on Sunday would have scored that goal.
Okay.
Similarly, with Haaland, okay, there was a bit of push and shove and whatever. But the way he kind of eased Gabriel out the way and the way he took that was like metronomic accuracy right in the corner.
Metronomic accuracy. You're coming out with a vocab today.
No,
what?
So in layman's terms, he puts it right in the corner.
Yeah.
Gives possibly the best goalkeeper in the Premier League no chance. That's what I'm talking about City being clinical and we've not. And so I've been doing some thinking about this, and I think our malaise goes. There you go, malaise, another one.
You're the rower today, mate.
Throwing it out today, mate.
Our malaise, right in front of goal.
Did you spend last night with the Collins Dictionary? Is it tucked under your pillow?
It goes right back to the Carabao Cup final.
Yeah.
Because if you recall, and I'm sure you guys do, going into that game, we were the favourites for that game, remember? Strong favourites. City, I think they'd played 5 games previously without a win.
Yeah.
They'd been put out of the Champions League, let's be honest. It was pretty humiliating for them.
Yeah.
There was all the talk around Pep.
Yeah.
What was he going to do at the end of the season? Surely he's going to move on because it looks like they're going to go trophyless. There was all that talk.
Yeah.
We were on a little bit of a run. Things were looking good. But on the day, City turned up. We didn't really in the second half. I was at the game. They outplayed us completely 2-0. And since then, our form has dipped. And theirs, commensurately, it's gone up. And they're looking good right now. So we come down to the last 5 games and 6 games or whatever it is. City, by the way, are now on top of the table, which feels kind of surreal to me because we've been top since August, and now all of a sudden, in April, they've overtaken us. Not in terms of points.
At the time that it matters.
At the time it matters, and here it is. So people have said to me, if you look at the next 5 games, our running is, how can I put it, less challenging than City's, which on paper, yes, it is.
Yeah.
But here's the problem. We, in terms of form, are not playing that well. Whereas City, I know they weren't at their best yesterday, but they're on a bit of a tear results-wise.
Do you know what, Laurie? You make a really good point there. And one thing I will say is, I've had a lot of debates with obviously fans and everyone. You know, it's over, and literally people are writing off the season now, which. Look, I understand in one way, but then also as part of me, it's let's not just bother turning up for the next 5 games. Then
I'm not saying that we can't win it. I'm not saying that.
No, 100%. I hear in the form thing. What I will say is that performance, I haven't got a problem in losing how we lost on Sunday. They were 2 top quality goals by 2 top quality, Haaland and Cherky. That Cherky goal. It reminded me of Hazard when he just danced for our defence. And listen, when you're going to stick Saliba come flying in, doesn't get it. He sticks Gabriel on it. He glides past him with ease. They're top players. I haven't got a problem when you're undone by a piece of genius, a piece of magic. And what I saw on that pitch on Sunday was belief and desire, and they went at them. They weren't. There was periods when they sat back, and they didn't. But generally it was fantastic. I was entertained. That first half felt like 10 minutes. It literally. I remember looking at the clock. It was and it was like 40 minutes, and I was like, we're 40 minutes into this game. And then I remember the similar thing in the second half. Before I knew it, it was like 75 minutes in. Before I knew it, there was, they were just before 87 minutes, and there's a few minutes to injury time. The whole game for me flew past, and that's a sign of a great game of football. Whereas I watched last night Man City Burnley. Burnley, the first 15 minutes was a good game of football. The rest of it, I'll be honest, I started dozing but after about sort of before half time, and then after half time into about 75 minutes. And that when a game of football for me feels like it's a long time, it's when there's not a lot going on. It's not, but it was, so I don't have a problem. And the point I'm getting to is form-wise, if we take that form into Newcastle the game and we go at them like that, I believe we win the game. If we played like that against Bournemouth, I believe we beat them. That's what I want to see from the team, is turning up. When Mikel Arteta talks about fire in your belly and he talks bring your lunch and bring your dinner, well, bring it. Let's see.
For the next 2 we've got to be on the front foot the next 2 games. And if we were sitting there and we scrape into a 1-0, we've got to go for it, because we have to. We can't go back play like we did against Bournemouth. Because the crowd will turn on them for a start.
Well, 2 things can be true at the same time. So yes, we do need to.
And we need a clean sheet.
Clean sheet, yeah. But if we scrape a unimpressive 1-0, we've got to take it, because we've got to win the position we are in the league now. We have to try and win all of our games.
Definitely, I agree. Listen, the points, more so than ever, it's about getting the points on the board. However we do it, doesn't matter. But I do also think that, when you're playing Newcastle, I think they're going to fancy it. Teams look at form. Obviously there's a lot of stuff in the media about Arsenal and Newcastle. Think, where they're at in the league, they're gonna want to, push on. And there's not a huge amount of space between European places, and they could potentially be getting in there, but. Listen, they're safe from relegation essentially, and not no disrespect to Newcastle, when you're down them ends of the table, you're 14th in the table, you do have to think about that where you're playing football next season, but also they haven't got, I suppose, huge amounts to play for, but they will fancy their chances.
Well, I would argue that they do have a lot to play for because they're in a poor run of form. There's a lot of speculation about the manager, Eddie Howe, and so there is pressure on them as well. But having said that, I don't think Newcastle are going to come to the Emirates and try and be expansive. I think their game plan will be to keep it tight, try and hit us on the counter. They got the guy Osalu up top. Yeah. He's very quick. Apparently he's recorded the fastest sprint in the Premier League this season. And on his day, he's the dangerous player. So,
the thing is, we got... I don't want to... I understand what you're saying, mate, but on Saturday, I don't want to see no ifs and buts.
Or maybes.
It's there for you.
Yeah, go and get it.
Just go for it.
Yeah.
That could depend, though, on the type of team he picks. I'll be very interested to see the formation, the lineup, and the selection. Because I would argue, do we need two holding midfielders against Newcastle on Saturday?
They really have one eye on the Atletico Madrid game. Which, isn't it funny? We spoke, how long have we been on it? It's like the Champions League's an afterthought, isn't it?
No, I know.
It's weird, isn't it? It's a Champions League semi-final.
Well, what we do have the benefit of with this fixture situation is essentially if we go and beat Newcastle, then obviously we've got Champions League, then we've got Fulham the following week. So we could restore our 6 points lead without Man City because they ain't got a Premier League fixture.
Got Everton on the Monday.
Have they actually got Everton on the Monday?
Yeah, Monday after the Fulham game.
After the Fulham, there you go. So they play on the Monday after the Fulham game. So we could be back to 6 points clear. Now, going to Everton, you never know what can happen. And of course, then people say it shouldn't be in other teams' hands and we should have won this by now. We should be 15 points clear. I get all of that. But football doesn't always work like that. No. It's not FIFA and it's not, fantasy football. Sometimes it goes like that. And unfortunately, we are in a situation now where it is, like we said, it is a shootout.
I would say both teams are likely to drop points.
Yeah.
Both teams are likely to drop points before the end of the season.
Where would you think? I'll tell you where I'm worried. Shall I tell you the game I'm worried? West Ham.
Yeah, good shout.
Yeah, because listen, they're fighting for their lives and they're playing good football.
And in recent years, at West Ham, they've beaten us a couple of times. I know it's been in the Carabao Cup and games like that, but even so, Nuno's got them playing for him. And that game will be crucial for them because let's face it, that last relegation place, Burnley got relegated yesterday. Wolves and Burnley are gone. I would imagine Forest, Leeds, they're all right. So it's between West Ham and Tottenham for that last spot.
Okay. I want to ask you both a question just because it's come to my head and this is a question that I think I've seen a lot of responses to and I'm just intrigued to know both of your answers. So I'll ask you first, Chris. So listen, if Arteta wins either the Premier League or the Champions League, right? Or let's say, either or, has this been a good season?
Of course it has.
Yeah? And would you consider getting rid of him at the end of the season?
No.
Okay. Same question goes to you.
Same answers. I think
exactly the same answers.
Yeah, listen, before the start of the season, we would have wanted a major trophy, right?
Yeah.
Okay, earlier on, a few weeks previously, people were talking about quadruples, but deep down, how many people really thought that was going to happen? Well, if he ends up winning either the Premier League or the Champions League or both, that would be a tremendous season. Personally, my preference would be the Premier League.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, unequivocally, I prefer the Premier League. But listen, if we miss out on that and he wins the Champions League, that is the greatest so-called consolation prize ever, isn't it?
Well, if we
you could reverse the question, say you don't.
Right, okay. So let's say, I'll just about delve into this a little bit more, but the treble, if he wins one of them, treble still could be on. Tottenham getting relegated, so you win the Champions League, Tottenham getting relegated, and Man City getting charged with all their charges, the treble. Right, so now let me just adjust this question slightly. Can we get to a Champions League final and narrowly lose to a Bayern Munich 2-1 or whatever, and we lose the Premier League by 1 point? Chris?
I'll still stick with him.
You'd stick with him?
Yeah, but I'll stick with him. But the thing people are going to have to realise, he's going to have to break the team up.
Okay.
The team will need fresh... You can't ask the same set of players to listen to the same instructions, to keep coming second.
Yep.
You're going to have to break the team
Move
up.
some of them on and bring some new in. Laurie, same question.
Just
applies.
touching on that last point, I think regardless of whether we could win both the league and the Champions League, there's 6 players that I've identified previously, and you know this.
No, go on, please.
Ben White, Odegaard,
Yep.
Martinelli, Trossard, Jesus and Havertz would be players that I would move on in the summer.
You're getting rid of them?
Yeah, not because they've become bad players overnight. I just think if we're going to
And you want to replace
progress,
it with elevated
I'll
players
be
with
looking
elevated
for.
levels?
I mean, there's some players that will need to leave anyway. The
Okay.
Jesus of this world. The time has come, unfortunately. But yeah, I think we need to strengthen in all those areas.
Yeah.
In relation to your question about.
We go to a Champions League final. We lose, say, 2-1 or 1-0 to, I don't know, Bayern Munich, PSG, whoever it is. We lose narrowly in the final, and we lose the league by 1 point.
Right. So in that eventuality, if I'm on the board, I'd be doing my due diligence to see who's available.
Okay.
Unless you can find somebody that is a significant upgrade on Arteta, there's really no point in getting rid of him.
Okay, cool. No, the reason why I asked that question is because I've had a lot of people saying, I've heard, which to me is insanity to say, even if he wins the Premier League or if he wins the Champions League, he's got to go.
No.
Right? And I have had enough of this manager. I don't like him. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, it's like, imagine working for a company and being the best in a company, and then they sack you because you've performed well and won something which hasn't been won, in 6 years, and then you're out the door and you'd feel a bit of grief. I mean, you feel a bit of grief.
We're talking about, we've not won the Premier League in 22 years. We've never won the Champions League. So you're telling me you're going to get rid of a guy that wins the Premier League after 20
Laurie,
not you. I'm saying I'm addressing.
I have heard this, and do you know what? To me, it's absolutely insane.
Well, for reference point, Tottenham, Ainge, whatever you thought about him, Chelsea, the geezer that won the World Club Championship,
Maresca.
Well, let's go on to this because, Chelsea, this Maresca situation, then they bring in Rossini, he's out the door and they've got to pay him 25 million quid. and it's like, what they've lost, was it 8 out of 9? And the only one they won was against Port Vale, which was no disrespect to them, but you expect to beat Port Vale if you're a Premier League side. And now he's out the door, and they've got now a caretaker manager. They've got a semi-final coming up in the FA Cup, and I was thinking, well, what's the point in appointing him in the first place? Then, this is something that I've said before. You go back to the Pochettino, who was at Tottenham, right?
Call him Poch.
I know I butcher some names here and there, but I don't mind. So anyway, they get rid of him because we want to move forward, and obviously because Tottenham fans bring in a Mourinho's, bring in a Conte's, proper managers that won things. They're going to take us there. Now look at them.
When clubs react in a knee-jerk fashion like that, you've got to be careful what you're doing, because regardless of what you say about Arteta, he has built things. Berta's come in. They've established a relationship. They've brought players into the club. So the project is definable. You know what I'm saying? You can see where they're headed. Now, okay, you can argue that football at times has not been great. You can argue that Arteta so far has not shown that he can get it over the line. But if you're going to, in the eventuality that we don't win anything, which I hope to God that doesn't happen, I could see why, if, say, a Luis Enrique became available.
Signed a new deal.
Oh, is he? Yeah. So then you're looking at who else is out there that is going to come in.
I've heard Hansi Flick.
Nah. Cesc Fabregas.
Yeah, Cesc Fabregas, which essentially, I think Cesc Fabregas has the makings of being potentially a fantastic manager. Look what he's done with Como. He's brilliant.
But the thing is,
this job is a lot different from managing Como.
If you are keeping Arteta, I still think the question that's got to be asked is this April curse.
Yes. What's going on with it?
And why he still does not know how to manage a squad manager. He runs people into the ground. And yesterday, how about Arsenal played 33 league matches this season. Zubamendi has been picked in all of them. And I find that total madness.
Yeah, I do. Do you know what? I do. And obviously there's something with Norgard that, I like Norgard, but Zubamendi for me, he's just one of those guys that you play. And we need a suitable replacement. Maybe Norgard was the wrong
I think that's where the Mourinho injury comes in.
Yeah, I know. Do you know what?
Slaughtered us.
Yeah, it has, but then you can't blame your season on injuries and, this. And
I do think, though, that on the Arteta thing, if the unfortunate eventuality happens, there will be a significant number of the fan base that will want him gone, and that could prove to be a real problem.
I'm hearing it already. Yeah. I am hearing it, honestly. But
I just think you need to be careful how you go about it.
It might be an age thing.
I think it is. Well, what someone in particular, they were like, I've never seen Arsenal win anything, and that's what I want to do. And I'm like, okay, cool. So that makes sense then. Obviously, we all have. I remember, and then I think at certain times people think, I'm not like. Listen, I support the team, I support the club, and at the moment, do I think Mikel Arteta's done a good job up until this point? Yeah, I do, because I remember I've had a season ticket for years, and I've been at the Emirates, and I remember under Emery, and I remember the latter years of Wenger. But I also remember some fantastic times under George Graham and, the early years of Wenger. I remember that. I remember why I fell in love with Arsenal, as a football club, and I just think. I find it interesting to have this focus on, but then you say anything about it and you're an Arteta lover and you want him in and you support him,
He may say no thanks. He might
walk.
He might look at himself and say, you know what?
I can't be dealing with
this. It could be one of them where he's taking the club as far as he can take it.
Yeah.
Personally, though, I don't think Josh Kroenke and that will want to part ways with him. I think that relationship they have is very close. I've seen elsewhere where Arsenal are recording record profits.
Yeah.
That's not going to go unnoticed in the boardroom.
It's not.
So unless there's somebody out there significant that they could target and say, right, I want you to come in, I think he stays. Now, I can understand some of the fan base who say, look, he's not the man. How much more longer are we going to have this guy in charge and not win anything? How long are we going to keep coming second? I get that. I just think that it's all very well saying that, but unless you can find somebody to come in that you're
clear
confident,
upgrade that's actually going to, because also there is that risk you get someone else in and you drop off. Again, we saw it with Wenger with Emery. Now, I think for me, you talk about the Kroenkes, I think it would be Berta, personally, would be the guy that would, if there were any real decisions, he would be the guy that would be like, right, this guy can't do the job. And this is the guy that you need to bring in.
Hold on, I might question some of Berta's decisions.
Yeah, well, there you go.
But I don't think he would have that sway over Josh Kroenke.
No, look, at the end of the day, the ultimate authority is obviously the owners of the club. I completely get it.
You could say, I'm sorry, Mr. Berta, but I'm not that impressed with your summer window.
Yeah, okay, see you later.
Which is weird because, I personally was giving him huge amounts of credit.
We all was. I think we got good with
yeah. Well, look, do you know what he's bought? I think the players that have been brought in have been fantastic. Obviously, there was, I thought when Eze's fit has been fantastic. It was a shame he came off in the game on Sunday. But
why did he come off?
No. Well, look, he's just come back from injury. He just hit the post, and I understand.
It didn't look like he was struggling to me.
But then,
why did Victor come on so late? 84 minutes into the game.
These things I don't know. But then there's stuff. We all know Mikel Arteta is very good at keeping his cards close to his chest when it comes to injuries. Saka, I've heard that he's got a ruptured Achilles. He won't be back for the rest of the season. I've heard from other sources that he will be. He will be back for Champions League football. I've heard all sorts. But Eze, I don't think he would have bought him off. Eze's going to be integral to games like Newcastle, unlocking defences, and I don't think he would have taken him off if there wasn't a reason for taking him off. But I don't know. Look, so let's go on quickly. So you guys watched the game last night, the City and
I couldn't watch it.
Okay, so Chris, what did you think of it?
I thought if Burnley had a little better finishers up front, they could have scored,
And the game was quite a bit tighter than we thought, because everyone, personally, everyone's going, they're going to go and put five.
Pep wasn't happy. He was throwing his arms up. He looked very frustrated. And then I went into that game thinking, please don't let him hit 5 or 6.
This is what I mean. That's exactly what I thought. That can happen.
I was over the moon with the 1-0.
I'll be honest, when City went 1-0, here we go. This is the start of it. And they had a couple of chances. But also Burnley had a few chances. They go in the back of the net. It's a different game. It was a lot tighter than I thought that game would be.
I think, do you know what's going to be interesting? Is that their last game, City, is Villa.
Yep.
if they're in the Europa, when is the Europa League final? Is that in the week leading up to that game?
Yeah, I think so.
Or was it after it?
I think it
Our
is.
last game's Palace. Are they in the is that the week leading up to it, or is it after it?
So Palace have got their Europa League.
I'm assuming they get to the final. They beat Shakhtar.
Well, they've got theirs. Obviously, next Thursday they've got their first leg. Then the following Thursday they've got the second leg, and obviously if they then get through that.
I can see it. This is Sky. I love this. Going into the last day, everything's equal.
Yes.
Who scores the most goals?
Yeah.
But you know the problem with that is though, and again I'm trying not to introduce too much doom and gloom. If you don't beat Newcastle on Saturday,
I know that. Yeah.
All that is redundant. So we've literally got to take one game at a time.
Let's talk about Newcastle on Saturday, right? 5:30 kickoff at the Emirates. It's going to be intense. Who do you play? Who's available?
If fit, Saka, Timber.
Saka, Timber, both play.
Yeah.
Do you think they'll be back though?
Well, you got to be very careful because you get with social media, but I think there is a chance.
Oh really?
Yeah.
There is.
Do you, Chris?
Yeah, go.
Take a chance in playing him. And let's face it, every game is the biggest game of the season, kind of thing. Those guys just having come back from, let's face it, pretty significant injuries, especially Saka with the Achilles stuff.
I know what you're going to say. Yeah.
Put him in from the start in what is going to be a high energy, intense game, especially with Newcastle, they're a very physical side.
Yeah.
Would you start those guys? I'm not sure if you do.
I'll start Timber.
Okay.
And I'll have Saka on the bench.
Who would you start then if Saka's on the bench?
I'll go with the young 16-year-old.
I think I would and all. Do you know what? For me, that game on... Yeah, no. Do you know what? That game on Sunday, I don't play him.
Do you know why?
It's too
Remember
physical.
the pre-season friendly?
Go on. Oh, yeah, skin burn up.
He skinned him every time.
Yeah, just twisted him up to pieces. Do you know what? I agree with... In this game, I'll tell you what, I'd start down. If you've got Saka on the bench to come on, I don't think... I still with the... then people say, Wayne Rooney was playing when he was 16. I get it. I think Wayne Rooney's a slightly different kind of player.
Physically, he was a man child.
He was like still 25-year-old. Do you know what I mean? He's 16. He was just like, he looked like... and he's just a different, I think, build of player. Lamine Yamal, I understand all of that, but listen, like we said about, we want to protect these players.
Have you noticed the last couple of games that Max has played, with the greatest of respects, he's not had the impact he had before. You know why? Because now teams are starting to target him.
Yeah.
Rough him up a bit.
Yeah,
and I think, as much as I really love his talent and the way he approaches the game, I think we've got to be careful with that kid because I don't think it's fair on him, either from a physical or a mental standpoint, to put too much pressure. We're playing Newcastle in a game that we have to win, right? Arguably our most important game of the season. And you're putting all that pressure on a young man when you've got guys that, come on now, Madueke, he was brought into the club for a reason. I know he's not been performing, but he needs to rocket up his derriere to say, look, come on, there we are. Likewise with the other wingers. I mean, Madueke's been getting a lot of stick, and yes, he deserves it. But what about Martinelli? What about Trossard? What about Jesus when he's come on?
Jesus. I'll play Martinelli. I'll still play Martinelli.
Yeah.
I would play Martinelli, but when was the last time these guys have really had a good game? They've had moments. So, for example, you alluded to it earlier. Trossard comes on, that ball into the box was perfect.
On the money.
On the money. Unfortunately, Havertz missed it. Martinelli, a few weeks before that, against Sporting, provided that wonderful assist, and Havertz took the chance. But we're not seeing enough from our front three.
I agree.
Now, Max, I would use him as an impact player because we know what he can bring off the bench. So I would certainly use him at some point, but to start him, not so sure.
So maybe then if Saka's fit, you start him with a view...
I wouldn't start Saka over.
With a view to,
The guy's having a lot of problems, it's clear, with his Achilles injury. Although we want to win the league, although things are kind of desperate, you've got to also think of the long-term project.
Yeah, cool.
The guy's just signed a, record-breaking deal.
3-year deal, 300
so
a week.
we have to think about that.
Yeah.
To just chuck him in, right, go for it. It's just, I don't think that's a good look.
Okay.
I wouldn't start him.
Okay, who'd you start up top?
I'd go Madueke, Gyökeres and Martinelli.
Okay.
But the bench in that game will be important.
Well, I think for me, the one thing, you just quickly you touched on Jesus. It's a shame since he came back from injury, he showed a few glimpses of brilliance, and he's a player that you can play across the front three. And unfortunately, I think he's got one eye on the World Cup, and I think he's got one eye on getting through this season and getting sold without getting injured again. And
I just think he's come to the end of his life cycle.
Yeah, no, he has. At Arsenal, I mean, listen, he served a purpose.
Because what will typically happen with Jesus, he'll come on and he'll have a couple of moments where you think, wow, he's on it today.
And that's
Unfortunately, he doesn't last that long. He never scores, or hardly ever scores.
Yeah.
And again, that is the problem we have. We're just not scoring enough goals right now.
So obviously back four, start Rayo in goal. Back four, Timber, if he's available, he starts right back. If not, Mosquera.
Yeah, Mosquera, although he was given a bit of a warm time last week by Doku.
You know,
I mean, that made me laugh. Like, our guy, shout out to Christian. You know, me and him have been going back and forth on this whole Doku. Christian Ty.
Oh, yeah.
We've been going back and forth
with Christian.
Yeah, believe it or not. And I said to him, I goes, listen, bro, Doku is levels on Madueke. No, they're the same type of player. No end product. I said, okay, you could argue. By the way, Doku got the assist for Haaland's goal yesterday. I said, you can argue about numbers, but I'm telling you now, Doku is a better player than Madueke.
Yeah, he is.
He might not get the goals and assists that he should get, but he is a clear and present danger. He's a threat. You saw last week what he did to... I've never seen Mosquera, correct me if I'm wrong, he had Mosquera shook.
No,
he had him shook, bro. Got him booked, had him all...
Mosquera's quick.
Yeah.
And he was past him, and I've never seen Mosquera get...
No, but did you see the way Mosquera's eyes was all...
Yeah.
That's what Doku does to you. Okay, he may not get the goals and assists, but he's a threat, he's aggressive, he runs at you, he's tricky, he's strong.
We've missed Timber very big time.
We have a lot. And I'll tell you what, the whole thing about all of this is, I think my biggest regret of this season is us not signing Semenyo, because he solves our problems on the left and right hand side. You know, this situation, like say this weekend, Saka not being quite fit, you play Semenyo, you can play him on the right.
Ironically, he had a poor game against us.
And then if Saka's fit, you stick him on the left.
He wasn't great last night, Lord.
No, but he plays. He starts.
No, he's an excellent player. Don't get me wrong. I would have taken him for sure. I would have taken him.
Midfield, obviously.
But we were in January. We were adverse to buying a player. We just don't want to.
I know. And he was there for the taking. And he's an Arsenal boy. Just a quick one. Did you see at the end of the game, just going back to the game, did you see Declan Rice saying it's not over? Did you see?
No, but he's getting a lot of stick for that.
He's getting a lot of stick.
A lot of people viewed it as him being performative.
No, leave it.
I don't listen. No. He has to say that though, doesn't he? I mean, who's going to sit on the ground and say, it's all gone?
And this goes into this. This goes into my whole point. There's something I've really looked at. Is like, I think there's a lot of people that are like, no, they've said to me, oh, come on, Marty, be honest, it's over. No, I know you, oh, you say it for the camera, be honest, it's over. And I'm like, it's not over. Like, this league ain't over, mate. We're literally level. Yeah. Oh, no, but there's no way we're going to win it now. There's no way we're going to win it. I'm like, no, honestly, we can we can win it. Do I believe we're going to win it? I do, 100%. I said it.
It has shades of 89. I've got when we lost.
Yeah, hasn't it?
It does, but the difference was that 89 team's forward line compared to this forward line is on another level.
I would say we can still win it. Anyone that says we can't win it,
you just don't know.
You just don't know. What I would say though is that based on current form, you would have to say City are favourites, because as I said to you before, ever since the Carabao Cup final, their form has gone that way, whereas ours has kind of levelled off. What we need is a good win on Saturday to get some confidence back in the team and push on from there.
Do you think this week off, we've been so used to playing, basically 2 games a week, right? Do you think this week off is going to do us a massive favour against Newcastle, or do you reckon it's going to... Do you think it couldn't have come at a perfect time, having since that game on Sunday, right, week off until... Saturday and a later kick-off at home to give us the best opportunity.
I think you make a great point, and I'll tell you why that is so... Well, there you go, congratulations. I'll tell you why that is so pertinent as well, because after City's game, where Chris is right, they didn't exactly overly impress.
Yeah.
A lot of people said, I didn't see the game, so I can't go, that City looked a bit jaded.
Yep.
Sheer physical and mental effort it took against us, because that was a difficult game, and tough game.
Yeah.
City looked a bit jaded.
Yeah.
Especially in the second half, they looked a bit jaded. And I can see that. So with Arsenal, by contrast, we've had longer rest.
Yep.
As you said, we're at home against a team we should beat. If we can put in a good performance and beat Newcastle, all of a sudden, things look different, you know what I'm saying? It's still all to play for, the confidence will be a little bit back. We'll be like, yeah. Imagine if we beat Newcastle 2 or 3-0.
Actually, yeah.
We've put in a good performance. Everyone is back up and, you know what I mean?
Going right.
The vibes are there. So we play Fulham, do that to them, hopefully, and then all of a sudden we'll be top of the table again.
6 points clear.
Yeah.
And let's say then...
Pressure's back on City.
Scenarios. You know I love the scenario. Right. Let's say 0-0 against Atletico midweek, and then we go and beat Fulham, whatever, 3-1 or whatever at home next week, or 3-0 again. We're 6 points clear, and then Man City falter and they draw with Everton. We're 5 points clear. There's 3 games to go.
And Declan Rice is right.
Then everyone's going, oh yeah, but we've still got to play. We've still got to play Palace and West Ham. Do you see? That's how quickly football can change.
But that being said, though, I can understand why some of the fans feel that way because of the trauma.
Yeah, for the last 3
3
seasons.
years finishing runners up, always seeing City.
We're all suffering that.
Yeah. So that I can see especially some of the younger, more emotive fans. They're going to be like, oh, no, it's done. Because I've had a lot of people hit me up with that as well. Well, it's done, forget it.
Honestly.
But it's not done. It's definitely
I've had literally people trying to convince me, no, you believe, you're just saying that. You're saying it. You don't actually believe it. And I'm like, no, I do believe it, honestly, because I understand how football goes. But I think...
You know what the ironic thing is? What's the easiest trophy to win?
The easiest one. Well, there's no easy trophies to win.
The Champions League could be a little bit. Just got to get past Atletico.
Oh, for us.
Yeah.
The easiest one. I mean, listen. Realistically, all we need to do is win one. To win the Champions League, all we need to do is win 2 games, and we can lose 1.
Do you think that's the easier one in the Premier League? Then?
Possibly.
Why do you say that? I'm interested to know.
Only because of. I think we do look a little better in Europe. We've looked a different team.
Yeah, that's true.
And the thing with it is...
The problem with that is, though, is even if we get past Atletico, which is by no means...
But then if we play Bayern...
PSG or Bayern.
I know what you're going to say.
But then if we play Bayern, I think... The thing with the Atletico game for me, not to jump too far ahead, because... Well, actually, we can jump too far ahead, because that will be done by this time next week. So let's quickly dive into that. The thing with that game is we've beaten them already and we've put them away at the Emirates. So going into that game, obviously Simeone, he ain't no mug. He would have learnt from it and be like, right, if we do this, we're going to get opened up. But that was literally a crash bang wallop. Before you knew it, we're 4-0 up. I remember watching it at the Emirates. It's like 60 minutes and the game is like dead, and then bosh, and it was like we're 4-0 up. So not, within not just saying the scoreboard just went like that, but it was like goal. It was like,
you are right, but here's the difference. That game, the circumstances are completely different.
I know, because they didn't have. I think there were a couple of players, and then people said, it's the group stages.
Exactly. No, but that is a factor, right? It's the group stages.
I do get that.
This is a 2-legged game, so the tactics
are going to be different.
And we know that Simeone, to his credit, he's very good tactically. I'm not saying that Arteta isn't, but Simeone has more experience in the Champions League. These types of games suit them more. But I still think we can beat them.
They will fancy it. I think Arsenal will fancy it because of the previous results. Then also, if let's say we have Bayern in the final, then that's another team we've beaten. And that final is just a case of who turns up on the day. Whoever turns up on the day and gets the job done is winning it. End of situation.
And Bayern, of course, will be completely rested because
and
PSG, by the way. Actually, PSG in their league, things are quite tight, aren't they?
Really?
Between them and Lens.
Okay. So
I'm pretty sure that's the case.
Fancying our chances against Atletico Madrid away from home. We go to Madrid next Wednesday. So by the time this is out, we will then know whether we've beaten Newcastle.
Next week we'll know where we are.
Yeah, I mean, we said that last week, and then this week, to be honest, the mood's slightly upbeat. But listen, we need to get the result against Newcastle on Saturday, and then obviously we've got that massive Champions League game where it gets really exciting. And unfortunately, this is the end of the show.
Just to correct myself quickly, PSG have pulled clear of Lens now.
Sorry?
They're 4 points clear on the same amount of games, PSG and Lens. I thought it was a bit tighter.
Okay.
But anyway.
Thanks for that French League One update. For any of your League One communications, please come to Laurie. He's your man. Look, thank you very much, gentlemen. You have been absolute superstars. Thank you very much, Mr. Laurie Lyle, in the building for stepping in. Mr. Chris Hudson,
Cheers.
the legend himself. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed the podcast this week. I am assured Mr. Lee Judges will be available for selection next week and back in the fold. Please get your comments in. Please like it. And look, thank you very much for watching. As always, I've had fun. And come on, you Gooners, massive game. There is a watch along. So Lee, Cecil and Robbie are going to Uganda and they will be hosting, I believe, a watch along from there. There will be, we potentially will be doing a starting 11 show in the studio as well before the game. I will be going to the game myself, and afterwards, my debut of hosting the fan cams outside the stadium. So stay tuned for that, because that is going to be fun and I cannot wait. And I'm sure it's going to be carnage, whatever the weather. So look, guys, I've been Marty, he's been Chris, he's been Laurie, this has been AFTV, and I am signing out.
Hi, I'm Dr. Andre from Oxford Natural. If you're looking to make a change, improve metabolism, energy, sleep, take Optimum Day and Optimum Night.
These have helped me so much in my weight loss journey. The Optimum Day helps you with your metabolism burn during the day, and the Optimum Night helps you to have a good night's sleep. These have been brilliant for me. And if you're interested,
take our 90-day challenge.
Click the link in the description and you can get 70% off with your first order.